Hello. Welcome back to the Elyse DeLucci Show, episode 93. How are you doing? It is early March. It's cold here, still in New York. It would be nice if it was spring, but probably a few more weeks for that. Fact of the day, goosebumps are meant to ward off predators. Is that not crazy? This physiological reaction, obviously when the hairs, they stand up and you get the bumps all over the skin. We inherited this from our ancestors as a part of the way to appear bigger than we are. So the skin would get the bumps, and then the hair would puff up and help to ward off predators if they were if they're frightened or on the defense. And I thought that was so interesting. But apparently there's this professor of zoology in Canada that was talking to the magazine Scientific American and said it doesn't obviously no longer work. It obviously doesn't work anymore because we don't have hair. But even if we did have hair, like goosebumps are small. If you were, full-bodied coat, a shiny full-bodied coat, and you got the goosebumps, how much bigger are you going to look? Maybe a millimeter? I mean, it's you know what? The only reason why I'm telling you is because I just never heard it before, and I thought it was interesting, and it's true. So the guy's name, the professor of zoology in Canada at a school over there, his name is George Bubnik. That's kind of a name that you would get bullied, right? Bubbynick. Anyway. Oh, my God. What a week. It's in stand-up, in this business, you get a few pieces of good news, and then you get bad news, and then you get good news to keep you going, and then you get bad news, and it's just a yo-yo. And I don't know if that ever changes, or if one day you just get good news and you're just riding high, baby. I'm hoping it's the latter, but there's this really good documentary, if you've never seen it, Comedian. It's an old documentary, and it's called Comedian with Jerry Seinfeld. And Jerry Seinfeld does this documentary, just him doing stand-up comedy, when he was already popular, but not to the today level. And it's him and another comic, and they're side by side. They're the cameras sort of shadow both, and you see what it's like to be like a really new comic and then somebody that's more established. And you see this high and low thing that goes on with comics. But on the low side is I was doing that show at Slattery's every Friday, and it's no longer. Can you imagine 3 weeks? What could flourish in 3 weeks? And listen, I don't have anything. I don't have any loyalties to the owners of that bar because I don't. I brought them business. It was a good show, and thank you for you people that came out and supported and watched it and liked the post and all that stuff. But apparently what happened was the first week that we did it, some of you were there. We sold out the show. It was great. There was definitely some things that we needed to work out. The lighting was dark. The tables were sort of spread in weird ways. But, the drink service could have been faster. But, we worked it out. The following week, they made the lights brighter. They staffed up, whatever, but it didn't sell out. And the owner was fine. The one owner was fine. He said, "It's okay, Elyse. Don't worry. Thanks for being so transparent." He wasn't there that night. "Thanks for telling us the show didn't sell out. Rome wasn't built in a day. No worries." So after the second show, I went home and I got printed from Vista Print, like a sidewalk sign to promote the show, some flyers to let some of the newer comics that were on the show, go around the block, pass out the flyers, all that kind of stuff, and it was going to be, and the package just arrived a couple days ago. So fun. So then we had the third show, and that those materials didn't arrive yet, but the third show happened and we had people come. It was good. It wasn't as many people as we were expecting, but the comics were great. One of my comic friends, great guy, Jabron Salim, he's about to open for Hassan Minaj. He's a super funny guy. I mean, these are comics that are performing at the best clubs in Manhattan. I mean, are they on their A game at the Slattery show? I don't know. But yeah, for the most part, they're working out their stuff. Anyway, Third show wasn't as well attended. And the owner, listen to this. So the owner wasn't well, let me just tell you. The net was that the owner wasn't happy that the attendance wasn't there. And he sent an email. After the show to me and somebody else that got me the venue, and had said, I don't think we're going to be doing this comedy show anymore. I don't think it was really well attended this past, last night or tonight, whatever it was, that same day of the third show. If Elyse wants to do it once a month, that's fine. But other than that, we're not going to continue to do it weekly. And here's the thing. This owner that wrote this is the brother of the other guy that said Rome wasn't built in a day. So the two brothers, they're not on the same page. That's mistake number one. Number two is, what kind of asshole sends an email and says, thanks but no thanks, and doesn't even say, hey, let's get on a phone call to talk about it. Let's sit down. What could we do to promote it? Hey, Elyse, are you advertising? And I got news for you. I was advertising the show out of my own pocket. And I was paying the comics, and a lot of these bar shows don't pay the comics, but I was paying the comics because I want to do the right thing. Again, out of my own pocket. So between the cost of advertising, printing the materials, paying the comics, I obviously was in the loss, but it's fine because I'm not going to not pay my fellow comics. Even though I don't always get paid when I do these bar shows, I wasn't going to not pay these fellow comics because I just don't think that that's right. But that's my own ethical thing going on in my head. So anyway, guy sends this email. I get on the phone with my friend that helped me book the venue, and he says, so do you want to do it once a month? And I said, absolutely not. He doesn't even, this bar owner doesn't even have the decency, one, to talk to his brother, who probably has the lesser share in the bar. Two, he doesn't even have the decency to be on the same page as the brother. He doesn't even know the brother said to me the week before Rome wasn't built in a day. Three, he doesn't talk to me. And four, what this guy did on the last show was so horrifying. And then his business in general his business mentality was pretty horrifying. And let me tell you. So that last show, the third show, they were running late at the bar, and they didn't have the mic set up and all this stuff. And near where we had the mic set up on this little stage at the bar, there was a flat screen TV on the wall. And this bar owner, the brother who wasn't really around much, he takes a microphone, right? He goes and gets it out of the basement, whatever. He takes the microphone and he plugs it into the flat screen television that's high on the wall next to where this microphone is standing. And so the wire on the microphone was about 6 inches long. So, and then he put the microphone in the stand. So if if you could imagine this, flat screen TV on the wall, there's a 6-inch cord from the TV to the mic in the stand. So if you're a comic, you have to cock your head. I mean, I can't even. You have to cock your head and you have to speak into this microphone. You can't take the mic out of a stand. You can't move around. You got to do it like all fakakta like this. And I said to the guy when he was doing this, I said, whatever his name was, I don't even remember. Who cares? John, that was it. It's John. The comics need to take the mic out of the stand. Like, this is a performance. Like, they can't be stretching their neck, straining their neck to talk into a mic that's attached to a 6-inch cord. And he says, it's fine. And he was really like kind of, abrupt about it. And then I kind of just, badgered on, come on, you got to fix this. All the comics surrounded him. It was like so strange, not in an aggressive way, just like hey, Elyse, do you need any help? Like in a nice way. And he was like, fine, I'll fix the cord. So he pulls the cord, from, I don't know, Jerry rigs this whole thing. And the cord was wrapped around the television. He got this longer extension. The cord wound up being wrapped around the television and then hanging from also a shelf that had some ceramic beer glasses. So the mic, thankfully, was in the stand with a long cord, but the comic really couldn't do anything physical on that little stage because the cord that the mic is on was attached to these shelves with ceramic mugs. It was horrifying. And there was other things like, there was people behind the stage. So we had to kind of perform sideways. So I didn't really like that. And I just said, the fact that this guy is giving me such little respect, can't even set the mic up right for essentially what's a free show that I'm producing in his bar. Like, go fuck yourself. And worse than that is this bar every Friday has a Seinfeld trivia night, which is super fun. And I think it starts at like 7 o'clock. And the trivia goes from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And my show was starting at 9 p.m. on Fridays. So the show, starts at 9 p.m. And the people that are doing trivia it's a huge crowd. It was like 50 people doing the Seinfeld trivia. And they are loyal customers. Every Friday they'd show up at this bar and they would do this trivia and have a great time. And if they win the trivia, they get free shots, whatever. And if I was out with my friends doing a trivia night, I feel like I know that you know what I'm going to say. If we were out doing trivia night, eating a burger, drinking beers, doing trivia, and somebody came over to me at 8:45 or 9 o'clock and said, hey, you got to leave because we're about to do a comedy show, or hey, you could stay for the comedy show, but you got to be quiet, I would be like, go F yourself. I'm here. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having food, drinks. I just did a fun trivia with my friends. I want to hang out. This bar owner thought it was okay to kick out his customers that are loyal and coming there week after week for trivia. And by the way, it was his idea to do the show on a Friday. He knew that the trivia was going on a Friday. This is his idea. I was like, I'll take a Tuesday. He's like, Friday. So you know what? So I just felt like I don't want to deal with this. This guy, he's not running his business nice. I didn't tell him that. He doesn't have any respect for the comedy show. The brother, I think, his brother, Justin, really liked comedy. And I think that the brother was really into it and was patient or whatever. But you know what? The reality of the situation is that the bar was in Midtown East, and that area is just a dead zone right now because people aren't back at work, or maybe they're back at work a couple nights a week, and there's just no foot traffic there. And if you're producing a show, you need a place where there's foot traffic. You can kind of pull people in off the street. They'll just be wandering around and see your show. And it wasn't a good location. And at the end of the day, that bar is suffering. I mean, the food is great. The drinks are good. Like, it's a fun pub to go to, but it's suffering. There was a really cool Moroccan restaurant on the block. It closed down. There was another really great pub, after work pub across the street called the Ginger Man I used to go to back in the day. That closed down because of COVID. So, you know what? It's sad, but a lot of these bars in this Midtown area are closing if they don't have, sort of a loyal customer base. And I think that this owner was just kind of like desperate. He was like, let me put on this show. He didn't communicate that to me, but I think it was like, let me just put on this show, right? And see where it goes and hope for the best, right? And the first night was great. The first night was a total success. The second night was a success. It was that third night that was just not the best attended. And the thing is you got to build up a momentum for the event. And I'm just done. I got this guy on the second show. He's showing me receipts. Can you imagine, like, receipts of how much people spent? Come on. It's like, I have a full-time job. I have my comedy stuff I do. I have my children. I have a house. Like, it's like, get the fuck out of here. I have my podcast. I have these little things that people ask me to audition for. I'm not going to be worried about your bottom line. I'll be concerned about selling tickets. I'll want to get people to sell tickets. But if your wait staff or bartenders aren't going over to the tables and saying, hey, you want to get something to eat? Hey, you want another drink? Hey, it's a 2-drink minimum. If they're not doing that, do not dare to come to me at the end of the night and say, hey, why aren't people spending money? So, you know what? I'll go where I'm wanted. Lesson learned, don't go where you're not wanted. Who knew that? Onwards and upwards. The good news is that I am doing a show March 30th at the Stand. It's a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. The show is just me and my friend Olga Namer. It's co-headlining show. It's going to be really fun. I'm divorced. She's divorced. Like, it's just like a 2 New York girls. I'm from Staten Island. She's from Brooklyn. It's going to be really fun. Just the two of us. Wednesday, March 30th, 7 p.m. And the Stand is a great club downtown. And they actually have a full kitchen and the food's really good there, FYI. So, do you know that a taxi cab randomly burst into flames in Manhattan. Can you imagine? Yeah, there was a cab on 83rd Street and First Avenue at 5:30 p.m. the other day. Just burst into flames. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows if there was something combustible in it. I don't even know if there was people in it. I just saw it on the news. I just saw it on the news yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, how horrifying is that? I swear, the world is just like a scary place right now. It's just totally scary. I took the train the other day. I've been taking, Ubers and taxis around, and the bus. I like the bus because I like to just, I'm above ground or whatever. But I did take the subway the other day. I was going somewhere and it was very convenient. It was during the day, and it was fine. But it's nowhere near as crowded as it used to be. But there's just, I'm always so paranoid about going onto the subway lately because every day I'm hearing about who's stabbed, who's pushed. Last week there was someone stabbed with scissors in the eye. I mean, it's like this city is just horrific. And the real estate prices aren't going down, I'll have you know. It's like, okay, the city's a garbage can right now. Can anybody get a cheap apartment? Can I buy this? Can I buy or rent or whatever the hell I could, whatever you call it, take the studio next door from my aging, neighbor? No, of course, there's no bargain prices going on. Anyway. But when I was on the train, there was a woman, it wasn't packed as like sardines standing, because it's always standing. We're always smushed in standing. Sometimes you have to wait for another train to go by, if you can imagine that joy of a commute. And you were able to walk on the train, but there were no seats. There was a woman in front of me sitting down, taking up 2 seats. Can you imagine? Just taking up 2 seats, just sitting right in the middle of 2 seats. I was like, I wanted to say something to her. Normally, I would say, oh, excuse me. Normally, I would say, oh, do you mind moving over? Or, oh, I need to sit down. But you know what? I don't want to talk to anybody because I don't want to have any trouble. And she could have been a freaking lunatic with like a wine corkscrew, a wine, thing in her hand for all I know, a knife, a machete out of her back pocket, and she could have hacked me up right before my own eyes. So you want to know what? Fuck that. Fuck it. I watched the most adorable movie the other day with my kids. It won a lot of awards. I remember when there was, I think it was the Academy Awards. I think it was last year or the year before. Coco. Have you seen this movie? It's Coco. It's about it's a nice story about a little boy that wants to be a musician, and it's about Dia de los Muertos and ofrendas and all this kind of stuff. And I have to tell you, there are some kid shows that I really love. Like, I liked Toy Story. I love Sing, the movie. I love Pets, but then there's other ones that I'm just like, I can't even believe that my adult eyes and brain have to sit through this whole torturous thing. But this movie, Coco, was really good. And it was totally different. It was totally, totally different. If you're in the mood to watch a cartoon, which I know, animation, I completely recommend Coco. Really, really cute. One of these moms in a mom group I'm a part of posted my favorite kind of post. She says, hey girls, I am totally different sizes right now and I need some recommendations for stores. All I want to do is find some online stores where I could buy cheap stuff in lots of different sizes. And a bunch of ladies wrote back, and I want to share with you this list. Some of them I know, you probably know. And there was other ones that weren't that cheap, to be honest, so I don't have them listed. But one is Shein. Shein, this is the Chinese store. Everything's like $5, and everything also feels like $5, and it washes like $5. But I got a couple things. I actually have this skirt. I've posted. I wear it on stage actually kind of often. It's a black and like cream zebra skirt. I got it from there. It's junk. I think I paid like $12 for it, but I like it. It's cute. It's comfortable. It's just the perfect amount of shitty that it feels like I don't have anything on. You know what I'm saying? And it's a little big, so I like it even more. But Shein, another store was Lulu, ASOS, ASOS. I like ASOS a lot. I buy a lot of things off ASOS. And the other one is PrettyLittleThing.us. PrettyLittleThing.us. I like ASOS. ASOS is a British store or European store, and they have a US website, and they always have cool collabs with other brands. They also they sell Topshop stuff. I used to like Topshop. Topshop was in Soho, and they sell Topshop stuff there. But ASOS is cool. That's probably the best one, but it's not like super cheap. It's not cheap like Shein, or maybe it's Shine. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's Shein. ASOS is, it's ASOS is like definitely a couple steps above H&M, a few steps above H&M, but it's not like buying something, at Bloomingdale's, that kind of quality. Anyway. Uber released a new feature that lets you book restaurant reservations and concert tickets through the app. That's interesting. I haven't tried it yet. I actually don't use Uber. I use Lyft. For whatever reason, my Uber app broke for a long time. But what do we think about that? Your car service is booking also your restaurant reservations and concert tickets. I don't think I want my driver to know where I'm going. That's my take on it. How dare you invade my privacy like that? And by the way, isn't it going to be more money if you book it? I mean, it's either going to be more or less. It's either going to be more money to book a concert ticket through Uber because they're going to want to cream some of that ticket price off the top, or it's going to be less because they're going to try to, do like a wholesale deal with the venue and offer it as added value. Not additive, offer it as an extra value to their customers as a discounted price. But I don't need, Uber already knows your location data. I have it only turned on, of course, when I'm using the app or a Lyft, any of those. But I don't need them knowing where the hell I'm going, okay? Then that means they know that if all of a sudden Uber's taking you to Jean Georges for a $9,000 dinner, Uber knows that the person they're driving around has $9,000 to spend for dinner. Get the hell out of here. I don't like all this sharing business. I mean, all of our data is shared regardless, all across the web anyway. I mean, we're carrying around mini computers essentially everywhere we go. Everything is recorded. Everything is everything. But to voluntarily give your information, your timestamp, your location, forget that. No interest. No interest. On the tech stuff, you know how the other day we were talking about Joe Rogan and that whole thing of like, should he be blocked and banned off the thing? And we talked about Spotify as a platform, and they're not a publisher. And, the publisher versus platform is a publisher editorializes the content. A publisher says, hey, this is the kind of stuff we're going to talk about. If you pick up Vogue, you're going to see very expensive clothes and very high quality fashion and very high designs. And we're not going to be doing editorial spreads about Walmart, although they would sell themselves out for a big ad deal. I know. I worked at Condé Nast. Anyway. But a platform is literally just acting as a distributor. So, we talked about that, but it's interesting because Facebook and YouTube and TikTok are also platforms, right? And with this Russia and Ukraine, with the war in Russia and Ukraine, and by the way, I don't like to talk about political things and news things, but this has to do with that Joe Rogan thing that we were talking about the other day. TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube blocked the Russian-backed media outlet, Russia Today. So in Russia, they have this media outlet, Russia Today, and it's like in Italy, like where when I lived in Italy 20 years ago for college, and the prime minister controlled some of the television stations. And at the time, I remember being in media class because I was a journalism major. I remember at the time thinking when I hearing the teacher talk about that, I remember thinking, oh, that's cool, whatever. But I didn't really fully understand what that meant. I didn't really think I understood in my college brain that meant that if the state or city or country controls the media stations, then obviously they can spout their propaganda. But in this situation, Russia Today is about, they I guess apparently are talking Russian war propaganda. And so in Europe, it's only in Europe right now. I'll be interested to see if the U.S. does the blocks. But in Europe, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube blocked Russia Today. So you cannot access content from Russia Today if you are in the European Union. And, that's, again, it's similar to that Joe Rogan situation because it's like, are these platforms supposed to censor the content? Isn't it supposed to be content free for everybody? And you can pick and choose what you want. Now, of course, when TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and, maybe Spotify or whatever, I mean, they might have they might have pre-existing or regulations or rules to posting content, like you can't post crazy X-rated content. We're gonna block full nudity, and that you understand because that involves moral and ethics. But should these outlets block Russia Today? I'm not going to give you my opinion on it because I don't want to get into that. But I understand why they're doing it, obviously, like you understand. But it's interesting. It's interesting. The other thing that's happening in that space is Google, Microsoft, Twitter, and Facebook. They've banned actually, Russian media outlets from selling ads globally. So if you are Russia Today, or, I don't know, another newspaper, I don't know what newspapers are in Russia, but if they have the Russian Times, you could just go on Facebook and just take out an ad campaign. Okay, so if you're blocked, go on Facebook, take out an ad campaign. Target it to New York, target it to Brooklyn, target whatever. And but these platforms blocked it. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting. And also on that note, in terms of Russia Today, Microsoft and Roku, they removed Russia Today apps from their platform. So if you have a Microsoft mobile phone, or if you have Roku, on TV, you can't get Russia Today on there. So there's this weird thing about publishers versus platforms. And a lot of platforms, as we talked about with the Joe Rogan stuff, they are becoming publishers because they are ad revenue supported businesses. They make their money through advertising and sponsored content. I would go to Cannes Lions. This is a big publishing media ad tech conference in the south of France. It comes a few weeks after regular Cannes. And these are the things that we would talk about. And when I was working in the space, I would go to Digiday and Adweek and, Ad Age, and we would all be in conferences about this very topics because it is really, really interesting. And we do have our First Amendment freedom of speech. So what's the deal there? Can you believe that my ex-husband is on yet another vacation with his girlfriend? Where is this guy getting his money from? Okay, that is all I want to know. And here's the thing. He's a regular guy, just like me. But he has been very kind. He's been very kind to me. He's been saying he'll pay, for our babysitter, because he's doing better than I am financially and blah, blah, blah. And then he says to me the other day, by the way, he's going skiing with his girlfriend, and he's going to need me to pay the babysitter that week, which, and by the way, I pay my babysitter myself if I'm doing my stand-up at night, but I mean like for the everyday nannying. And I just thought, you're asking me to pay, which fine, that's our agreement. Our divorce agreement is that I am paying half of everything. But you're asking me to pay, and in the same breath, you're telling me that you are also going on a vacation. How about you not go on a vacation, guy? I haven't been on a vacation like in ever, and that's my own choice, okay? That's my decision. I am choosing to save whatever money I have, but don't wave your vacation in my face and then say, hey, by the way, can you cough up some extra money? It's like, it has nothing to do with the babysitter. I love the nanny. I love our nanny. It has nothing to do with paying for my children. I pay for everything for them. It has to do with the use of his money. And it's like, we are divorced, and I know. It's I do have a very good divorce with him. It was very amicable. As you know, we didn't have lawyers, but it's like, really, guy, we are saying we are supporting each other. Like I tell him, if I ever make it big in life, in anything that I'm doing, and I come into a lot of money, if I win the lotto, I will pay off, his mortgage. Yeah, I would, because I love him, and he's the father of my children, and I would never want to do anything to hurt him. I would only want to help him financially, and I truly believe that, and I know he would do the same. But don't ask me to pay the babysitter when you are out skiing in God knows where with your girlfriend that I can't stand for no other reason than it's his girlfriend. Actually, I got reasons, but I don't want to put the girl on blast. Product of the week, baby. Rest Cloud Pillow. Let me tell you about this. Rest Cloud Pillow. It's not like a pillow that you sleep with. It's a neck and shoulder relaxer. You could buy it on Amazon. I just got it. I used it once. It felt great. I can't wait to use it again. It's a blue, like little hard foam contraption, and you basically just, put it on your neck, under your neck, and you just lay on it on a flat surface on the bed, and it basically helps like your spine alignment, any pain relief. And the reason why I got it is because I am always on my phone. I even like to send emails. I like to send emails. I like to, I just got used to a small screen. I just like it. I'm always working. I'm always doing things on my phone, but I'm looking down, and I take my time to stretch and open up and blah, blah, blah. But I wanted to get something that if I could hope to get myself into a routine, a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes at night, I just let before bed or when I wake up, just lay flat with this pillow to help some alignment because, I'm so California like that. So I got it. I love it. Rest Cloud Pillow to help relieve your text neck. And that's really it for today, folks. Maybe a shorty podcast. But by the way, thank you if you followed me on Instagram. I know I asked you guys last week. If you don't mind telling your family and friends, I'm really trying to build my Instagram following. It's like almost like I'm begging. It'll grow on its own organically, but I want to be on the road. I want to be able to I want to be able to do weekend gigs at clubs out in Long Island. I want to be able to do weekend gigs at clubs out in New Jersey, and I do some, but not enough, and to make an impact. And it's really because I need to get those numbers up. So anything you could do, spread the word. Send it out to your family, friends. Tell them to keep my account on mute because I'm always yelling on videos. That's fine for me. They don't have to comment. I just really need the follows, and I don't know how I'm going to get to the 50,000 mark. I know eventually it'll happen, but right now it just feels like it's a real uphill battle, and it's for no other reason. It's for no other reason other than wanting to go out and perform in the clubs. I could care less about what it looks like on the outside. I would have negative followers if it was up to me. I could care less. All I want to do is I want to be able to perform my stand-up comedy all over the place and on prime nights, and I just need that stupid following up. So that's that. Quote of the day by Jack Canfield. I love this quote. Everything you want is out there waiting for you to ask. Everything you want also wants you, but you just have to take the action to get it. Love that. That's like my whole life. I love it. Take the action. That's it. Episode 93. I'm Elyse DeLucci. We're in my living room. I love talking to you, and I will talk to you next week. Ciao, ciao.